Hello, back again with a new journal. This one, my daughter has named her Ethel, and she's 27 by 14 and 7 squishy, 48 pages, 96 both sides. This journal is made up mostly of vintage pages and vintage ephemera, some handmade. And it's made out of a Capitol record cover, or record sleeve, if that's what you call them. Look at the fluffy butterfly. Okay, here we go. Just a card. He comes off, and I've gessoed on the back so you can write on it. Let's put you back there. Just doily there to cover the record thingamajig, the little circle, and that's all pretty solid. I put some vintage music paper on the inside of the cover to give it some strength. Okay, front pocket, pretty postcard or birthday card, vintage. A stitch card I've just stained and put some pretty bling on the top. Their vintage ticket on this old sheet of varsity notes, I think. Quite detailed sketching. Was it a master's book? I can't remember. Shipping. There's some old ledger from 1929. There's a nice old ticket back there. I hope that's on screen. Is it on the screen? Barely. Nice old stamps. Oh, a little scrappy notebook here, made out of a vintage receipt on the front and some coffee dyed paper for you to write on this vintage graph. That's a recipe at the back. That bit here is there. That was in the front. Another recipe page. Ooh, jelly. Old vintage newspaper sheet with some advertising. I've slipped a slide into this little handmade slide thingy. Cute tag. It's quite long. You can see the whole thing's long. So I tried to use all my extra long bits and pieces, which is good. Nice fabric pocket. Here is a 1982 envelope, and that has I think it was a job application. No. Oh, it was typing practice. How was that folded? There. And the typing practice. I was always second in class. I could never get top. Here's a little pack of things to help decorate your journal. Some pins, some paper clips, buttons, paper flower, and some trim. Little vintage card and a pretty wallpaper piece. Cigarette card. That's pretty. What's in here? Handmade envelope with a vintage bookplate and Newy Snaps. Newy Snaps. Lovely old Vogue pattern cover. Nice book page. It was about sign writing and the old street scenes in New Zealand. So I fussy cut this out onto card. There's some glitter there, make it look like the old gift cards. And that's on a vintage sheet. I think that's more typing practice. Lovely tag here. Vintage postcard. Christmas 1919. Cute little doily paper bag pocket with a tag and a couple of tags. Cute little serviette holder here. That little, that leaf in the middle. Some ID. This is an old wallpaper info sheet that's on the end of the, on the front of the roll of this pretty wallpaper. Some old black and white here, and that's a cigarette card. Vintage. These are not fixed permanently, you can take them off. A little violet calendar, 1898, printable, graphics fairy I think. The whole year's in there. Some old vintage letterhead. Little note. Diary entry. There. Lovely large long tag to journal on, or journal card rather. Glassine bag, cute little snippet dangle on this long printable for you to journal on. This is a wartime, I think it was a New Zealand Herald insert. They give updates. And here is a little spool of waxed thread. Vintage stamp. Pretty card. This is the centre. Dawny pocket with a large printable inside. Slip it out. Butterfly bookmark on the other side of the there's a large printable in there. Another fussy cut. Isn't that cute? Shooby-doo. And I've put in here some stocking darn that they used to repair their stockings back then. That was from Graphics Fairy as well, the Graphics Fairy, that image. Here's a nice collectibles, half a page from a book. Cranes on one side, Cradle of Life on the other. Organisms and all sorts of isms. Okay. Here is a nice old New Zealand penny. I don't know if I'll be able to send that, but you know, I will. I've seen A lot of people send pennies in their journals. Vintage stamp. CD case cover with some, this is a nice old spray I found in an op shop. Wedding spray. Nice card inside. Is that a postcard? Yes, it's a nice vintage postcard. This is just a clip. And that's just a piece of coffee dyed board for you, just to keep it up. It's in this little paper pocket or card pocket. I guess that was to keep it on the page. Another little envelope up here, and that has another spool with some silk thread in there, and 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of trim on a card. Another one of those. What are those called? Yeah, I forgot what they're called. Another pretty fussy cut, and right on the back. Isn't that pretty? That's from the Graphics Fairy as well. Lots of writing space in this journal. Just a little insert here. Oh, this is pretty. I found that in an op shop. And right on the back. Another recipe. That's the graph with the rest of the recipe, or the beginning. What was that? Peanut cookies. Yum. Doily envelope. What's it doing here? And then there we have a nice journal card with a pretty blue doily. That's pretty. Getting naughty. Okay. Really, really long journal card. And that's it. That's the back. Doop-dee-doo. Yippity-dee. Okay. Well, that's it until I get time to do another. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you with the next one. Thanks. That's going to be on Etsy. Thanks. Bye.